Page 9. The company operated for the first time under the standard operating procedures while in Shagford. The 1st and 2nd maintenance platoons operated under shop conditions while the contact platoon traveled throughout District 19, handling repair jobs within its T/E, and sending the large repairs to the stationary 1st and 2nd maintenance platoons' shops. The following list of regiments serviced indicates the scope possible under these procedures. All units serviced were General Service Engineering regiments, and they were the 146th, 294th, 341st, 374th, 375th, 377th, 389th, 392nd, 393rd, 398th, 487th, 531st, 1313th, and lastly the 1314th regiments similarly served were the following: 1st the Assault Training Center, Braunton. 2nd was the 4th Dump Truck Companies of the 412th, 419th, 434th and the 596th Engineers Dump Truck Companies. Contact Platoon also checked the following summer tent camps, and did the necessary 1st and 2nd maintenance to the camp installations at Hen Gaps, Bigham, Kittley, Honeycomb, Houndstone, Tetton Park, Alfoxton Park, Stayberry Park, Filland Golf Links, Tinsfield, Cornwood, Bishop's Court, Cricket St. Thomas, Hinton Street George, Whiteway House, Marston Bigot, Edinburgh, Crookham, Stover A and B, Lyon Abbey, Hermorton, Tregrinnan, and Lufors House. On the 7th of April 1944, operation was begun under the new T/O and T/E, number 5-157 of December 1944. The process of equipping the company was very slow. Now, after 10 months of operation, serious shortages exist in shop equipment, which hindered the accomplishment of our mission. Special tools which are not available in the theater of operation, but were issued in the United States, and taken away in the States could have been shipped with the unit as T/AT equipment. This would have eliminated a great many of the present shortages. The PX was operated by the company to provide every man with his weekly ration. Ordinarily it was open 2 nights a week. Personnel revisions were as follows. The 1st of April 1944, 1 enlisted man transferred out, total enlisted men, 174. The 3rd of April 1944, 3 enlisted men transferred in, total enlisted men, 177. The 4th of April 1944, 2 enlisted men transferred in, total enlisted men, 179. The 7th of April 1944, 1 enlisted men transferred out, total enlisted men, 178. The 17th of April 1944, 4 enlisted men transferred in, total enlisted men, 182. Guards in this area consisted of 4 posts with 3 shifts of guards. Informal guard mount was held daily. 1 MP was furnished to patrol the town of Shagford.
The Allies' planning, activities and objectives for April 1944. At the start of the month, a 10-mile strip along much of Britain's coastline becomes a restricted zone. Civilians living outside the zone are forbidden from entering it, and those inside cannot leave. The Royal Navy begins a campaign of mine-laying off German bases along the Channel coast. These minefields were intended to prevent the fast German motor torpedo boats, known as E-boats, from coming out to attack Allied shipping. The Allied commanders and their staffs have completed the overall plan for D-Day. Now, the less senior officers in charge of the actual units, brigades, regiments and battalions that will land on the beaches early on D-Day begin to draw up plans. For the vast majority of troops, however, it will be at least a month before they know when and where the invasion will take place. Early in the morning of 28 April, the United States forces taking part in a major top-secret training operation code-named Exercise Tiger. They were intercepted by German E-boats. The attack takes place off Slapton Sands, Devon, and over 600 of the United States soldiers and sailors are killed. 3 of the valuable LSTs, LST stands for landing ship, tank, are sunk or badly damaged. Each could carry up to around 70 vehicles, so their loss is serious. The ships attacked are part of Force U, which on D-Day will land troops on Utah Beach. It was a disaster which lay hidden from the world for 40 years, an official American Army cover-up. That a massive cover-up took place is beyond doubt, and that General Dwight D. Eisenhower authorized it is equally clear. Generals Omar Bradley and Eisenhower watched the murderous chaos and were horrified and determined that details of their own mistakes would be buried with their men. Relatives of the dead men have been misinformed and even lied to by their government. It was a story the government kept quiet, hushed up for decades, a dirty little secret of World War II until in 1954, 10 years after D-Day, the United States Army authorities unveiled a monument at Slapton Sands honoring the people of the farms, villages and towns of the region, who generously left their homes and their lands to provide a battle practice area for the successful assault in Normandy in June 1944. During the course of the ceremony, the United States commander of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, General Alfred Ginther, told of the tragedy that befell Exercise Tiger. All the while, a detailed and unclassified account of the tragedy rested in the National Archives. It had been prepared soon after the end of the war by the European Theatre Historical Section. For anybody who took even a short time to investigate, there clearly had been no cover-up other than the brief veil of secrecy raised to avoid compromise of D-Day. Once the details of Operation Tiger became known, more information began to surface, from newspaper articles and from private investigations conducted by people and organization on both sides of the Atlantic and from personnel accounts of the soldiers who participated in it. Shortly after the German U-boat attacks, the Allies commanders continued with the operation and there were numerous problems with the planning and execution throughout this operation. This story demonstrates the harsh reality of war for the planners and especially the soldiers who will die in their training as well as in battle, because they are all learning how to fight and win this terrible war. What follows is a letter written by a retired Catholic chaplain to the American forces, Colonel Robert J. Curtis. References to an American cemetery in London about the burial he attended for the servicemen killed. I read of the funeral of the men of the 4th Infantry Division in England back 50 years ago. I am a long retired Catholic chaplain in the United States Army. While assigned to the 1st TD Group and waiting near the coast for D6 to arrive, I was called for a jeep trip for a funeral. Was told we finally arrived in the American cemetery on World War I Surrey at London. The ground was covered with hundreds of bodies in what looked like burlap. I was told to have a Catholic funeral service for the bodies of the Catholic men. In like fashion, a Protestant chaplain and a Jewish chaplain each took care of his men of his denomination. Then we were given sheets of paper containing the names of the men each had buried. We signed as directed. Then were told under no condition may you ever mention this funeral to anyone in your life. A few years ago in Monterey, California, a speaker came from Washington to speak at the military school there. I did not go. Did not think I fitted in. We were told 718 buried, but did not go around and count. Kept the security till it was released. Thought it might ease some of their families if they knew of the funeral. I write 3 times a year to a couple hundred families. As I travel cross country I am able to visit a few. Will be 84 in September, so not sure how much longer I'll travel. I pray for all of our dead, especially the war dead, each and every day of the year. Please keep them in your prayers. God bless each of you. Colonel Robert J. Curtis. Soon after this tragic event, at the end of the month, Admiral Sir Bertram Ramsay, the Allied Naval Commander, moves his headquarters to Southwick House, just north of Portsmouth. Next month, many of the other Allied commanders and headquarters will also move into this area. This concludes this month's update of the Allies' planning for the month of April.